Jay-Z is a pawn. And you see, they use DJ Vlad as a pawn to keep you distracted with Jay-Z. Let me break it down to you how they use Jay-Z. You see, when they claim that Jay-Z had $1 billion, well, that's a ghost account for the tiny tops, if you know what I mean, the Oshkoshki convertibles, the get it convertibles, because we speak in codes over here, because they just brought TikTok, the convertibles, and they own the media, the convertibles, and the convertibles who created the whole Pizzagate situation. If you notice, it's always the Steens, the Epsteins, the Goldsteins, the Weinsteins, and the Steens, right? It's the convertibles who use others as pawns. They give them these ghost accounts where, because they own the media and they own the banking sector, they give the illusion that these people are billionaires and whatnot, when in actuality, I wouldn't be surprised half of the stuff that the boy Vlad talking about, because he's already, you already know he's a convertible and whatnot. And, it's funny how he's from Ukraine, and in Ukraine, they got a convertible president with a bunch of Nazi soldiers and whatnot. So you see how that thing go, how they work hand in hand, always since World War II, because it was the convertibles that gave Adolf the money he needed, the convertibles, and he had convertibles, get it? Convertibles, Oshkoshki convertibles, and his military as well. So if you did some research, you would know that Adolf had the convertibles and his military doing the unthinkable and unalive other convertibles. So that's why I want you to always pay attention to the convertibles and whatnot, because those are the main problem. Those are the ones who created this whole situation. If you do the research on Pizzagate, because DJ Vlad is never going to mention Pizzagate, because they always need to hide behind something, whether it's via technology or whether it's via hiding behind the melanated, the original organic people, the pink people, the convertible pink people who hijacked someone else's situation to make themselves the authority and whatnot, but have the lower fertility rates, showing that karma is real and universal law is real. And that's what really bothers them, the convertibles. That's what really bothers them. The fact that they can't reprocreate and whatnot. That's why they get all sick and perverted with everything. Who owns the porn industry? The convertibles, not Jay-Z. So when you hear people like DJ Vlad talking about Jay-Z, who's a pawn for the convertibles and whatnot, who took over TikTok so that you can't see what the convertibles are doing over there. That's why the convertibles been doing all kind of things to journalists, so you can't see with your own eyes who's the real problem and whatnot. The convertibles and whatnot. The same convertibles that want Iran to be weaponless so that they can finally win a war against Iran. Those same convertibles. The most pathetic, chicken-hearted shit I ever heard in my fucking life. Criminals is what it is, on borrowed time with the lowest fertility rates. This is another thing that you need to know, that the convertibles are worried because they've been doing the unthinkable down in Gaza and all of that, that the Arab version of the convertibles is going to turn on a so-called white version of the convertibles. So what the convertibles want to do now is they want to try to convert more Russian Christians to become more of their convertibles, so that they, the fair-skinned ones, so that they can maintain that image and whatnot of being some fair-skinned convertible chosen crackpot cracker with low fertility rates, ain't running away from judgment or karma. But yeah, like I say, Jay-Z, and I'm not justifying anything none of these niggas did and whatnot, because I always wondered and understood now that why was it so easy for some cats to make it and it was hard for other cats that was trying to get in the industry. Like take, for instance, Beanie Siegel, you know what I mean? I know, he ain't the best role model, but I'm talking about, he was doing other things. They had the movies, they had a few movies and whatnot. You know what I mean? He had the state property clothes. You know what I'm saying? They had he even had a cartoon, state property cartoon at one time and whatnot. So which I thought was very creative. Salam alaikum, Beans. You know what I mean? I thought it was very creative with the cartoon situation. That's what made me come up with the Captain Cletus and his sidekick Chief Chauncey. The little comedic, version of Bill Cosby kids, you know what I mean? Fat Albert and the Cosby kids in the junkyard type of situation, you know what I'm saying? Just us being creative. So be on the lookout for that too. Captain Cletus and the sidekick Chief Chauncey. But anyway, like I was saying, it's just the convertibles who are trying to really recontrol the narrative because they lost the narrative and whatnot, showing and exposing who they really are. Just a bunch of international criminals. Always been when they jumped on this land. So it don't matter if I keep telling you, if they call themselves Uj or Uwish, or if they call themselves Christian. You know what I mean? They still have very low fertility rates because the world, Mother Nature, Mother Universe is quarantining them. You know what I mean? To plummet their numbers, to get them off the fucking planet for all of their war crimes and all of their history that they keep denying. So the man is running rogue. You know what I mean? Whether he call himself a Jewish or whether a Christian, running rogue on the planet. And so Mother Universe and God, the Most High, have to shut this clown down. And you already know, dangerous. It's like a poisonous snake that's dying and shit. Real dangerous right now. Real dangerous. So stand clear and let this thing crash into a wall, you know what I'm saying, so that we can reclaim our custodianship, you know what I mean, on the planet and start maintaining and bringing back the balance and order to this planet as we should, you know what I mean, as the original organic. Don't let nobody gaslight you. That's why they want to keep us distracted and they don't want us connecting with Africa and whatnot. Because one thing for certain, two things for sure, y'all, what's going on in the Sahel region of Africa, and even the fact that South Africa did stood up and did the right thing and spooked them, you know, the convertibles down there for what they're doing to children. So if you see what they're trying to hide there, down in there, what they're doing to children in South Africa, the melanated people are the people stepping up. And that really spooked that clown. You know what I'm saying? When they went for that arrest warrant and they got their arrest warrant against that clown, that really spooked the shit out of them. Trust me on that. They're spooked by that. They're real spooked by that. That's why they want to keep going after Ibrahim Traore, because over there in the Sahel, they're rescuing them babies because those are on that list too. Over there in Burkina Faso, the babies over there in Niger and Mali was on that list as well, because Africa might have been ground zero, and the Caribbeans might have been ground zero, and Africa might have been 2, and us over here, the melanated people, 3. This is why they so heavily infiltrated into our music. This is why we don't own no kind of media conglomerate. No kind of media conglomerate. And we put in the most work on this land. You understand me? Make that make sense. But we own no media conglomerate where we can speak out against these motherfuckers, but they claim with a dysfunctional democracy. But they claim with a dysfunctional democracy to have freedom of speech and whatnot. They have to use these words to make themselves, you know what I mean, look normal. All of this telling you and us to avoid karma, that's bullshit. Look at their fertility rates. So when they put this shit on camera and all that, and they doing all these fucking movies and all, and they showing you all of this stuff, and people saying, well, they got to show you this because universal law say they got to show you. Well, if that's the case, why the fuck do they still got the lowest fertility rates and the lowest life expectancy on the fucking land and on the planet, and they have to hide that fact? And I challenge any one of them. Remember, they're the ones in laboratories who had the genetically modified rodents. You understand me? Because real rodents are brown in nature. They had to genetically modify them in laboratories and shit. So technically, their scientists are their gods. Don't never forget that. Never forget that. Their scientists are their gods. The one that they show you on the cross was some gay faggot named Cicely Homo Bojo. Cicely Bojo Homo or whatever. You know what I mean? Cicely Bojo the Homo was the person who they put in front of you. And they always try to make people accept it. Let me prove it to you right now. See, this is how they work and whatnot. They used to have dim-witted Negro who mom was CIA, Obama, to groom him because they love grooming shit. This is what they do. They love grooming shit. So they groomed Obama, put him in office and shit. And over in Africa, they was trying to get nation leaders to sell their soul, like Ghana was one of them, who didn't support, who made laws against same-sex marriage. So what did they do? They put sanctions on it. Now, just imagine if the leader of Ghana would have signed and decided with the United States on letting that go through that same-sex marriage, then that was giving them the green light to go in Ghana and do the unthinkable to the little ones and shit. And I put that on fucking business on any motherfucker. That's why your nuts drying up, bitch. I like to call them shrimp nuts and shit. You know what I mean? This is Mother Nature's defense mechanism to stop them from hurting children. Well, I don't give a fuck if they call themselves Uish or they call themselves Christian. They still suffer from that same low fertility rate. This is why they want to use technology like robots and shit, because they're scared, y'all. Trust me. But it's all going to come ahead, family. Just pay attention.